Hello, my name is Ben.
And I'm Norah.
And welcome to the Too Vague Podcast. One word, two hosts, stories, trivia, and video games. Norah is in the Tucson studio today.
I'm very happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. And you got a little love from the podcat. That was good.
I did.
Bought him a special banana treat. Not a treat made of bananas, but...
It has catnip in it.
Yeah.
And it's good for his teeth.
Yes. And he's just hanging around here looking at his new scratching post, which we bought for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, what we're going to do is something that's a little bit different, because what you're going to hear next is an episode that I recorded with one of the producers of the game, Black Jacket. We had some technical difficulties, so the interview cuts out at the end. So I thought what we would do is get Norah here and have her play a little bit of the game instead of just watching the trailer this time.
Yeah.
And we can talk about what we like about it, what we don't like about it, and do like a little mini review. Keep in mind that this is a demo version, so it's not entirely there already, but it looks like there's a lot of variety as far as picking certain decks that are coming, as far as different routes that you take against enemies and things. So you played through the tutorial.
Right. And I went into the other.
After playing the tutorial, you got a little bit of game time with it. What were your preliminary thoughts about it?
Well, I need to play longer because there are so many things I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in some cases, I made educated guesses, but I can see I have to, and that's the way I do it. I play something and try things out and see how they work that way. And that's what I'm going to need to do.
And to some extent, that's all games.
Right.
Especially something like a card game. Even myself, I don't understand. I kind of understand what they're getting at with these different powers, but I don't completely understand it yet.
Right.
I am also playing on the Steam Deck, not a PC, but it does look like it works really well with the touchscreen, so that's pretty cool. In my older age, I would like the text, or at least there to be a setting where I can make the text larger for me, right? That would just be a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
But as far as the gameplay, it's blackjack, except it's got a few wrinkles to it. As the story goes, in hell, or I guess purgatory, you're dead, and you need to collect fairy coins in order to get out of hell. You've got currency that you bet against these various souls. And during our interview, he kind of gave me some more details about different stories for each one of these souls that you play. So there's going to be sort of expository explaining what's going on with them and so on and so forth. They're going to be, I believe, 4 different boss enemies at the end. So it's like you play through the little tree where you determine which direction you're going to go, whether you're going to go to the store and buy things, whether you're going to give your cards a little bit more power as far as different things that they can do. But at its core, it's blackjack. One other difference as far as the way it's normally played is the fact that you can pull your cards and put them into a sleeve for using later. There are other charms that you can get to expand that sleeve to have 2 cards instead of 1. Other things like luck, all sorts of things. You can buy these charms, or you get the charms as a reward for getting to a certain area. Did you have any, did it pique your interest?
It did. But like I said, I need to play it long enough by myself.
Oh, yeah.
To, I'll try this out and try that out and try what an impulse card is and what, all the different things.
Right.
And that's what I do with Balatro. Am I allowed to say Balatro?
Oh, God. This is a video game podcast. We don't talk about video games on the video game podcast. But yeah, it's a fair comparison. Balatro has some different things that it focuses on. It focuses more on the game mechanics. This one's more of a story. And there are a lot of games that utilize this sort of branching kind of like choose between this and that, or this and the other thing. This overtly shows you that. But something like Star Invaders, you make the choices between 3 planets, and that is how you advance it. But you could represented as a tree if you wanted it. It's just a stylized choice in this case to show you where you go along the way. And yeah, for me, same thing. Also the other thing is what they show you is a selection of decks to play up front. So there's going to be even additional decks and more variations of the cards and how you play them coming in the future. So what I usually do is I just play one deck for a while until I get the feel of it, and then I can move on to another one.
That's what I would do.
The play it a little more aside, is it something that the concept intrigued you? Yeah,
it did. It did. I lost a lot, but I'm one of these people who bets on 15 and 16.
Okay.
And lost every time I did. But
go all in. Yeah. As long as you're not doing it in Vegas and you're doing it on the game, I think
with
you're fine.
Real money.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to do it in the game.
Right.
But I mean, the fun factor was there for you.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. By the way, let's just say, make sure you put it out on the iPads because it looks like it's perfect for that.
Yep.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that kind of doing it on the Steam Deck is cool, but it would be very cool if you could do it on an iPad too.
Yeah, because I have an iPad, not a Steam. So that would be a good.
What were, this is your first time playing on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to use any of the controllers.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's just like when I work on my iPad and touch screen.
Right. But it is a powerful piece of hardware. I've already spent a lot of money on games for that sucker. And I wasn't expecting it. But because there are not a lot of games that they put out for the Mac, but there are a lot more available on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Another good thing, though, is it gives me an opportunity to play some of these games that I normally wouldn't play on PC and make an assessment as to whether or not they work properly there, but then also, play them. So you'd be interested in playing this in the future is what you're saying?
Yes. Well, I'd need to.
Right.
But yeah.
Did you get any story bits at all? What were your thoughts on the voice acting?
Well, the story bits, I think I had to play longer.
Yeah.
One of the people that I played against was called Ivel, I-V-E-L, anagram of evil.
Yes.
Yeah. And they were very happy to take all my money.
Of course.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'll lose again.
For the record, you being my aunt, I'm very happy to take all your money as well. For future reference.
Yeah, well, in the future, there's a possibility.
Yeah,
we won't talk about it.
We'll just play blackjack together all the time.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
That's just because I said I always bet on 15 and 16.
Yeah, and then I found out your weakness now.
Right.
It's what we call social engineering.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the game in its full form when they come out with it sometime this year. Like I said, we talked about, hold on. I need to use the name. As you so cleverly pointed out when we were introducing people. This is background on me. I'm horrible at names a lot of times. I talk to the person. I learn about the person. The name doesn't necessarily mean anything unless there's a connection there. And there's, you talk to people all the time and sometimes it's not, they don't connect, right? With my friends know this, which is when I introduce someone, if I knew their name, I introduce them with their name. If I don't know their name, I just introduce them and say, hey, this is so-and-so. And then every once in a while, my aunt will say, you didn't tell me his name. And I was like, and I had to think about Nigel, by the way. I had to think about it because it's like, yeah, he told me, Nigel. Yes.
The way you guys were talking, I thought you were fast friends.
I see him at the Starbucks all the time. So we do get into a lot of conversations and he's, kind of a business guy and an interesting person to talk to because he's got a lot of experience with old computing stuff. But anyway, I digress. So, how many stars out of how many stars are you giving this?
It's too early for me to do stars.
Okay.
I'd have to say 3 because I didn't play it enough. And I know there's so much more than what I did.
I think the key point of any good demo is that it gives you a taste and it gives you an idea.
Okay, I would play it. So let's say 4 stars until I know more.
You know what? Now that I think about it, star ranking probably not applicable for a demo.
Yeah.
Because I've played demos where the demo is wonderful, but then the rest of the game sucks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like trailers for movies where they always show you the best parts. And then you get there and it's, what?
And that's the thing with any type of advertising. You can make something, you can spin it any way you want. You can make something look like it's not. But I'm with you. I'm excited about the full release of it. I thought it was very well voice acted. I mean, even the beginning, all the vocals on it, real live people, which is always a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, doing the voice acting. So it was very cool.
I think I came across 2 men and 1 female.
Okay. So big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the show where I talked to Jakub from Mipumi Games. He's in Europe. And we had some technical difficulties on one of our ends. The interview cuts off a little bit, but it's towards the end of the interview, and we did get a very good discussion in there. So enjoy the rest of the podcast. Thank you, Norah, for joining me on this little bit of review-ish stuff.
Of course, it's always fun.
Of course.
To play. Yeah.
So thank you very much, and stay tuned for the interview with Jakub. Hello, my name is Ben.
Hello, my name is Jakub.
And welcome to the Too Vague Podcast. One word, 2 hosts, stories, trivia, and video games. Jakub, it's very nice to meet you for the very first time over, the camera thing, whatever this thing is called, Google Meet. You work for Mipumi Games.
Correct.
What is it you do at Mipumi Games?
So at Mipumi Games, currently I'm an associate producer. So for people that are not familiar with the game dev lingo, I usually translate it to a project manager.
Okay.
So I do whatever is needed to help the team ship a game. So usually it's the most obvious stuff like scheduling, task creation, maintaining backlog of the items that are on the list and keeping it in budget, scope, and time. But on top of that, since game development is a very broad topic, there's a lot of little other topics that I can support with. So to name a few recent ones is like collaborating with external QA, localization organization, and preparations for submission of the game to Steam, consoles, whichever platforms you're preparing for.
Yeah. Not to drop part of the name of the game we're going to talk about this week, but it sounds like you're a jack of all trades.
Yes, to an extent, you could say that, and I appreciate the pun.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You're in for a lot. Puns are one of my family's great traditions. We're going to be talking about a game and a word, an assortment of I'm trying to think of some sort of way to tie it in, but we'll wait. A game that I saw during Penny Arcade Expo. Have you ever been to Penny Arcade Expo?
No, unfortunately, no. I've never been to States, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about PAX. That's like a fun event and community-driven and lots of cool stuff to see, play, and talk about. So all the best from the industry.
Yeah, it's a great little show that I've been going to as a spectator for a couple of years before I started the podcast, which was about 5 years ago. But I've been going as a press for the last couple of years, and it's been really great getting connected with developers and game lovers alike. This upcoming year, I want to do a little bit more with fans. You know what I mean? Like having interviews with people about the show, too, in addition to talking to all these developers. The game that you are working on as the assistant producer, I played Blackjack at the show. I also got a demo review key for the game, which I'm guessing was what was shown at the show because it felt like the demo at the show as well. Having a lot of fun with it so far. At its base, it's just a fun game. What point did you come into the project as the project manager? Is this something that you started right away? Were you in it from the beginning, or how did it come about?
That's a cool question. I came to this specific project quite early on. We had a little game jam prototype at the end of 2023, I believe it was, where we had like a little demo like stored in our internal system. And then we had some people available and we wanted to move forward with this little project because it was showing potential. And we came back to it in April the next year. And that's where I came in because we wanted to see how we can flesh it out because it was like very game jammy, no art, only the core mechanics basically.
Right.
So only a designer, a programmer worked on that. And then we wanted to have a programmer, an artist, an animator, and a tester, so a whole team. So that's where I joined in to move on with the project.
Okay.
And then with some shorter or longer phases, we've built up from there with addition of the art, then more of the game, then less of the game, then again more. And it took a few steps and detours as all games do. And now we're here and heading for a release sometime this year.
Sometime in 2026. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because what you have in the demo is pretty amazing. It just oozes style, I think. It just got it's got a style all its own. To some extent, I'm also interested in the characters you play against and how many quote-unquote enemies you're going to face and the way those things are going to shape up because it's got a lot of potential in that department. Diversity of the cards and the way you play and all those things. It's really, really cool. I really like it.
The demo that you've mentioned, if you played the PAX version, that was very specific version of the demo because for PAX, since it's so crowded, a lot of people are there and we want as many people to have a go at it, we had to tailor it so that it's like a 15-minute experience that you can play it, you can get the hang of it, and you're like, okay, I want more of it, or okay, I need to find something different for me. So we called it PAX demo because it was specific. You had to like jump into the game, pretty much no tutorial, so you just play and the game evolves. And it's fine if you don't understand everything because it's like a fair show. You get the feeling of it. With the art style that the team developed, this was already eye-catching. Card games are
the deck builder.
It's a popular genre. A lot of people are drawn into it. So that was like a very specific demo that we built. And then in August last year, we released a proper demo where you actually have a tutorial. And that's a bit different thing. But the feedback was pretty much the same for the 15 minutes from PAX and now for the demo. People are drawn in by the gameplay and the variety of the cards and the possibilities you have, the art style, and the characters and how you discover them, what they say, and the story behind all of this.
Yeah, and it's got some variety in the characters that you meet. Like even in the demo, I think it has like 4 or 5 different, or maybe it's like 3 or 4 different characters you come across where there's like a final boss.
For the demo, you have 5 encounters, let's say, or around that, 4 or 5 encounters with 2 main ones, 2 bosses. They are a bit randomized and they can interject, and some of them will have different lines, different voices, different representation of their hands. So yeah, there's already variety in there, but there will be even more in the full game when it releases.
Are there any set, here's the number of quote-unquote bosses you'll be facing yet, or is that still something that you're working out as far as the details of the game? How far will you be able to go? How many levels deep as far as your bosses?
We have that set up, and once you play the demo, there's also a little board at the end that just tells that there will be more. I don't want to spoil much of it.
No, that's fine.
It's part of the experience thing. But we have it set. It's locked in, and from what we've been testing with like close playtests, it feels like the right amount of it for the game. So once people get to experience that, they will see what's behind the curtain.
I had a quick question about Mapumi Games. What I've seen on your website is you do a lot of work contracting and supporting other teams developing big name titles. Like I saw you worked on the new Indiana Jones game. Hitman, I think, was on that list. What is this company's focus as far as Mipumi Games? Are they trying, is it, you have the game jams and you see what works and then you develop your own games from that, but still a core of your company is supporting others. I mean, what is the business model for you guys at Mipumi Games?
That's a very common question when people learn about Mipumi and they meet anyone from us anywhere, if they didn't see or learn about us before, especially because they see the games that we've worked on. The business model is split into 3 pillars. We have the co-development, work for hire, and original APs.
Okay.
So co-development right now, I think, is the biggest group from the company. We're about 50 people.
Okay.
So for the industry standards, it's not big,
right,
but it's not small. And I think majority, but I didn't count, it works in the co-development. So we have embedded teams into the IOI company behind Hitman or Machine Games with Indiana Jones, and they are working very closely, like almost entirely integrated into the company on their games. Sometimes we increase the size of the team or decrease depending on what's in the pipeline, basically. So it's from mostly engineering, but also design, art, UI, testing, pretty much everything. So the company is also a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Then the second pillar is work for hire. So that's depending, what the biz dev leads come with. So either full game development, usually a bit smaller games, sometimes part of a game, sometimes porting to a specific console. I think we've did all of it basically throughout the years, and we still get new exciting deals and projects. Those 2 allow us to be financially stable, and then we have a go at original APs so that we also have something of our own. So the previous title was Howl, so a turn-based folktale game, and now we're working on Black Jacket and hopefully many more in the future.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing that you guys do that. Related to IOI, James Bond, I'm looking forward to that coming out. Well, if it's anything like Hitman was, that phenomenon as Hitman, I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, I'm just a little anxious because of that IP. That is a big responsibility.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yes, and Hitman has its own theme and world that was set in.
Mm-hmm.
For that, it's like first installment from IOI, so it's the expectations are all over the place and probably through the roof as well, because it's so different. It's so big IP. So I'm also looking forward to that.
If you're talking about the story and stuff, like which Bond are you going to be kind of more faithful to? Are you going to be like a darker Bond, like a Timothy Dalton, and to a lesser extent, Daniel Craig? Or are you going to be more like Roger Moore, like campy?
Yeah, that's also one topic that IOI had to probably spend a lot of time thinking about, since the franchise is so broad by now and so fruitful in all the movies. What spin or how do they want to approach it? So yeah, that's on top of the expectations that were there from the start.
Yeah, I wonder how much Barbara Broccoli was involved with any kind of discussions about this, because she used to be the gatekeeper of this. I think the Broccoli family got rid of or sold off the rights or something. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about James Bond. Unless you want to.
No, I think I'm good for now.
Okay, that's good. Enough spy stuff. The word this week that you suggested, is there any reason why you chose that word specifically? Is it something that you've got some things to say about, or? I
think it's there's a couple of reasons, and when I was getting familiar with the podcast and the format that you host here, I didn't want a word that would be just a bit too flat or one-dimensional. Like we could go with blackjack because that would fit the game that the main topic was about, and then I wanted to combine it with something more than just blackjack, but also a bit more within blackjack. So variety for blackjack comes in many forms because of the variety of cards, variety of strategy, variety of characters, and the relationships that are there. But then also for Mipumi, it's also variety of projects, variety of scope of the games, and also a big variety of people. Since we're based in Vienna, in Austria, it's a very multicultural and multinational city. So we have a lot of variety of people from different countries here. So when I thought of this word, I was like, yeah, I think that's a lot of topics. We could go on that for a long time.
Exactly. The first synonym that I think of is diversity. Different viewpoints based on cultures and different ways to work and different things like that where you've got to integrate those things together in order to make a team function properly. You probably understand that as a production assistant producer kind of role.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that go into that, yeah.
A lot of learning, too, from variety. People bring different things to the table, and there's a lot to learn there.
Yeah, for sure. And with each person and each project, it's completely different because some people can feel much more free and confident in some of the projects, and sometimes they might need some little guidance. And with the different team members, we can help each other out, and in the end, make something that's great. And this variety or diversity also helps out definitely with achieving those. And the learning part is always there. Like in this industry, you need to learn pretty much every day because it's so ever-changing and so fast. But the good thing is that it's very also open and sharing industry. So people want to speak about what they did, how they did it, and why they did it. And some people might learn from it. So that's something that I really love about the every day of my job.
Yeah, the development community also a very good support network, especially. That kind of brings a side question about Mipumi. So are you considered, you're an independent studio because you're small, right? So that's what you consider yourselves, an independent studio?
We're fully independent. We don't have any big corporation above us. It's the founders own the company, the full pack of it. So yeah, we're fully independent on that front.
Oh, you know what? Before we get any further, I want to say I came up with a new buzz phrase, as far as management stuff goes. Let me pitch it to you since you're a producer, right? And you probably say stuff like thinking out of the box and, synergy and stuff like that. Okay, so here we go. Contingency framework. See, contingency plans are too restrictive because it's a plan, right? You've got framework. That's what you need because you need to flex and you need to adjust as you go along. So that's why I thought framework, you build that framework, you think about just the main things that you might need to do to adjust, and then you can fill that out and change that more easily. It's like building a house, designing where the bathroom is and where the kitchen is and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I really like it, to be honest. It goes really well to like bread and butter of a producer because we make schedules, we make plans every day. Since it's a creative environment, both on what the people develop and their output, but also how people receive it, you need to adjust. So we create a plan, but the goal of the plan is to change. And then you build this framework, contingency framework, and around that, okay, if people like this feature, this part of the game, we can continue this on this side. But if they don't like it, what should we do? And then probably this feature is tied into something else.
What are our options?
Yes, exactly.
And you can't get too detailed, right? Because you want to be able to develop quickly. So it's like you can't gold plate the process. You can't think of every single little thing that can happen because
it's not possible.
Most of those things don't. Right, exactly. Those things don't happen. So I was kind of proud of myself when I came up with contingency framework. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get to the word this week. Hey, Jakub. Jakub, sorry. Hey, Jakub. Let's get to the word this week. I'm an ignorant American. I say Jakub, Jacob, stuff like that. But I will do.
Yeah, most people say Jakub.
Okay.
Here as well.
Okay.
Since it's the international
pronunciation.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I'm used to that. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
It sounds good to me.
Okay. I won't do something silly like call you Steve. That would be weird. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the word this week, which is, as we alluded to, variety. Reading from the Oxford. Oh, Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it got cut off. I think there was some hiccup on the internet. It might be my on my side. Sorry.
Oh, no worries, no worries. But you hear me now, yes?
Yes, it's just that the video is not working for me well, but I can hear you.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we can. I mean, it's an audio podcast because I have a face for radio. That's my joke. Anyhow, so let's get into the definition this week, which is variety. From Oxford Languages, variety is a noun. First definition is the quality or state of being different or diverse, the absence of uniformity, sameness, or monotony. Another sub-definition of that is a number or range of things of the same general class that are different or distinct in character or quality, a thing which differs in some way from others of the same general class or sort, a type. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. A form of television or theater entertainment consisting of a series of different types of acts, such as singing, dancing, and comedy. That's one of the things I thought of when a friend at the show was like, are you guys going to talk about variety shows? But we'll get into that if we so desire. There's a biological definition, definition number 2 in biology, taxonomic category that ranks below subspecies or species. It is members differing from others of the same subspecies or species in minor but permanent or heritable characteristics. Varieties are more often recognized in botany, in which they're designated in the style. Oh boy, this is just so, yeah. A variety of plants, I guess, basically. That would be the easiest way to say it. Like varietals and things. That's in biology, variety. Origin is late 15th century from French, variety, or Latin varietas, from various, which is various. So it looks like, according to the Google Ngram viewer, do you guys use Google frequently over there, or something else?
Google what, do you mean?
The Google Ngram viewer. Are you familiar with that?
Ngram viewer? I'm not sure.
If you look up a definition, there is a show more little pull down. So if you type in variety definition, there's a show more. You click on that, and then at the very bottom is use over time for variety. And this is just it's a graph that shows the usage in print over time. And it looks pretty consistent over time. There's a little dip in the 19th century, and then in the 70s it peaks, in the 70s, 80s, variety, and then now it's, I guess, it's starting to descend a little bit, but I think it's just going to remain at that level. Variety is something that's going to be sticking around for a long period of time, especially in print. I mean, it's hard to imagine.
It's quite unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also didn't change much from the original word. So I think since it's used so often and so long, it keeps its meaning and didn't have to change.
Not at all. So that is variety. The first question I usually ask folks is, what is the first thing that you think of when you think of the word variety?
I'll go with an answer based on my profession.
Okay.
It's most often, at least from my background, used in gameplay. Since I was also a designer in the past, gameplay variety is something that goes a long way, and is something that I think is very desired by a lot of players currently, either in the terms of what they can expect in the game, like different mechanics, but also how can they twist or play around a single mechanic to have more variety out of that. And that can it can go two ways. So you can either go with variety of multiple mechanics, like big games like GTA, Yakuza, and you have many activities that you can do.
Right.
Or you can go on the single path with multiple adjustments to the game, with like roguelike games where you have one single mechanic and then you can add on top of that what are the rules. So now something else happens and now everything's on fire, but it's still the same mechanic.
It's iterative. You add more and more. You add variety that way by adding different wrinkles or things like that to the game.
Sort of that. So that was I think also the sub word that I mentioned to you, the variety for gameplay, because it can also be quite broad with what you expect from the game, what you can put there, and how it then is translated, because it can be expanded on quite easily by the developers or even the community. So,
that brings up a question as far as it relates to gaming for me, which is sometimes games that I've played have too much stuff. There can be a point where it's just, you just keep on adding stuff, which is fine, but some of your audience you're going to lose because there's just too many things to do and too many sets of rules to learn. And do you think that's a pitfall? I don't want to say variety is always the best thing. I think you have to have a balance, right?
It is a balancing act, and I think that's the core of what makes games popular, and when they succeed is when you know when to put more or less of the stuff. Of course, there will be genres and types of games that people want as much as possible, as long as possible in some cases. But that allows also other games to have space for themselves, where the variety is much smaller, or it's just a very simple game, because sometimes you're in the mood for something fast and sometimes you want something slow, and that's fine. But knowing the audience, knowing the game is where you need to know if you want to add more or less of stuff. And I sort of hinted that before when I was talking about the development and when I joined Black Jacket, because sometimes we wanted to add more, but then when we were playing and players were playing, we realized, okay, that's probably not what they would expect of the game when they see it, because the packaging, everything that you see about it, it builds the expectations, and sometimes people would expect more, sometimes less, and that's the balancing act where you put more or less, and you will get to a point where you're like, oh, we could add this part, and then you realize, okay, but actually only 5% of the people will see it, because it's a very late game thing, and it's a really cool thing, but in the end it will cater only to a subset of players. So in some games you see that later, that there are endless modes that are usually for the ones that want even more of the game because they really like it, but there will be a big chunk of people that will not care about it at all. And then there's the decision, is it worth the effort, the time that you put to spend on this feature, or try something else entirely?
Yeah, exactly. It's the scope. You need to keep that in mind, the scope of whatever your game is. Audience is very important, and catering to too broad of an audience, you'll have some people who gravitate towards one part of the game and some people who gravitate towards another part of the game. And then at some point, when you're building on one or the other of those distinct areas, you can lose people that way, instead of focusing on this game, this side over here and this side over here. The game that comes to mind, boy, I was big into the game Warframe for a long time. Are you familiar with Warframe?
I know the game. I had some friends that played a lot of it.
Yeah. I started playing on the PlayStation 4, played it pretty solid for about 5-6 years. And I liked that they tried new things, but at some point they just lost me with, there's just too many things now. There's a ship combat thing where you got to work with people to keep the ship, and then you go out in your little Archwing things flying around shooting other big ships, and that part doesn't hit with me. Like I said, it just lost me at a certain point, just because there's just too much now. I've been trying to get back into it just to pull myself away from Arc Raiders, which is taking up lots of my time.
What you're saying about Warframe, it's an issue of any online game that's a live service that has very long lifespan, because it starts as a very concrete experience and people love it, and then it needs to live on, and it needs to be refreshed and reworked, or adding new content, new, characters, modes, maps, whatever. And at some point, after years, as you said, it's a way different game, and now starting this game can be daunting.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think anyone who played any online game that for a prolonged time will get that once you stop, it's very difficult to get back and catch up with the stuff. Some games are probably easier for that. I think World of Warcraft is one of the games that people often can get back to, but there are many other examples where you're like, what is this game even now after 5-10 years?
Right. And early on, what they were doing was they were trying new stuff, but they were balancing that with redesigning the systems and redesigning the balance of the cards and giving you more cards and more frames. That's where the variety was in Warframe. You'd have every month or so, they introduce a new frame, which had weapons that you could use independently using other frames, because every frame had sort of their own power set and stuff. There was good variety there. They'd add maps. But then when they started adding all these additional modes, there's this sort of sporting event mode thing that you can play, like it's just like its own sport, which is fine. It's okay. You can get cards that way that you can apply to your different builds of Warframe. But yeah, it just got too broad, too much variety. So that's where balance comes into play. Variety shows. One of the things I think of is variety shows. I also think of the smorgasbord, but that's Swedish. It's not Austrian, right? You're from Austria. Is that correct? Is that where the company is?
No. The company is based in Austria, but I'm personally from Poland. Like almost middle way between Austria and Sweden in geographically.
Okay.
But I could definitely connect with the Swedish board or smorgasbord, as you said, because that's also a typical, like form of it is quite popular in Austria in the summer when there is like wine season and you can go to a nice place and you get a plate of different food, cheese and stuff like that. And me and my wife, we love those activities. So yeah, that's a good connection there as well for me.
Yeah. Charcuterie. That's what those things are, right? The board of cheese and meats, charcuterie.
Yes, that's a nice word for it.
But variety shows. So I was talking about this with my friend Andrew, and he said that maybe variety shows, I was trying to think of variety shows in the US that have existed over time. There are things that you probably wouldn't be familiar with, like Donnie and Marie, like, well, you're familiar with Star Wars. You've seen the Star Wars Christmas special. That was kind of a variety show in a very bad way.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about it, probably.
I see so many YouTubers watching that, but I do remember seeing it when I was younger and just being like, this is weird. I think maybe I liked it just because it was Star Wars, possibly, but it's really bad in retrospect. It's one of those things you go back to it and you go, what in the world were they thinking? But it was kind of a variety show. You had musicians on there. You had cartoons. You had, all sorts of things there. Anyway, Andrew was saying that maybe Europe is the variety show something that is in Europe? Because I think the closest thing that we have to it are like late night television shows, like things like The Tonight Show. Johnny Carson did some stuff where you have musical guests, but you also had guests that did stand-up comedy, and then you did your own skits and things like that. Did you guys have in Poland late night talk show hosts or late night talk shows? Is that a thing over there in Poland?
Yes.
Okay.
That was also a thing with quite a few very, what would be the correct word in English? Not visual, but pronounced characters, I would say, that were the hosts usually.
Personalities or...
Yes, exactly. Like sometimes it was about fun and being comedic, sometimes about controversy, and depends on the show or hour where it was played. So yeah, these were also present.
Do you have any other variety things that come to mind? Because there's a magazine called Variety that's been around for a while that's about the Hollywood sort of industry and movies and things in show business, quote unquote. What is it translated in Polish? What is variety in Polish?
I think the closest word would be różnorodność, which is very Polish and difficult to pronounce name because it has a lot of special characters and sounds in it.
Yeah,
I think this translation or this word specifically in Polish. Currently, it would be more associated with the diversity. Like it's when you say the word, it definitely can mean variety, but I think recently it's more often with the diversity in terms of culture, people, backgrounds, and everything, which is definitely a topic that's very I don't want to say popular, but
is it controversial?
Yes, but it's vocal. Like it's something that you can read about or hear about pretty much every day, because it's a sign of our times talking about it, because there's so many things going on that it pops up very often.
Is diversity celebrated in Poland? Like, are people okay with it? It seems like in the U.S., diversity at some point became a dirty word. It became something that was a negative, but it's really not. It's like people, say diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI. That's like it's a bad thing.
I think it's the same.
Is it?
It's quite similar right now in Poland. It got to the point where it's got a bad vibe around it, and is used very often in the negative ways, unfortunately. Yeah. When you were describing how it turned out in US, I would say that it's quite similar currently in Poland from my distant perspective.
Gotcha. Well, that's too bad, because I think, something like diversity needs to be celebrated. It's, different perspectives. It's different.
And to maybe flip it on the more positive side, now being in Vienna, that's the complete opposite. Because Vienna is very diverse, very open. There's a lot of initiatives, and that's sort of natural that there's many people from different countries speaking different languages and showing different culture. So I'm really happy, and that's a privilege that I can live in such an environment to raise kids also in this option, because even like going to the shop or the kindergarten, on the way we can hear multiple languages, and it's always fun to hear, that these people are probably from the Balkans, or they're from, this is French, this is something else, and that was refreshing as well when we moved to Vienna.
So you don't travel back and forth?
We do travel a bit, because Vienna is like 400 kilometers from our hometown. So it's like 4.5 hour drive. So it's quite close by. Literally, we're going for a weekend to grandparents tomorrow. I'm going with the kids. So it's possible to do in like an afternoon.
Okay.
So that's where I still have some connection with Poland, but it's a bit troublesome with small kids, so it depends on the occasion. But it's relatively easy to move between those two cities.
Things are a lot closer there than I realized, because the United States feels a lot,
Oh yes.
Like if I were 4 hours is like going to Flagstaff, which is the top of Arizona. So it's like that's. But then again, you guys drive like crazy over there in Europe. Sorry, I don't mean to stereotype. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know the kilometers to the miles thing. I'm miles per gallon.
Yeah, I wouldn't know miles as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But the crazy part, you mean that it goes fast, or?
No, I don't mean like quality of driving. I mean like going fast. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I ride a scooter everywhere, and it's not like not like a Vespa or anything, but it's more like a motorcycle style scooter. It's called a Suzuki Bergman. It's a 650cc, so it's got some power to it. It can accelerate and stuff, but it rides like a scooter, so you sit on it like you would like a Vespa. And that's why speed bothers me a little bit, because people zipping by you while you're on a two-wheeled vehicle can be dangerous.
Oh yeah, that can feel dangerous for sure. Yes.
Are you a scooter person? Have you ever been on a scooter? Have you ride motorcycles, things like that?
I've never drive a motorcycle. I only drive car, but if I can, I would prefer using the public transportation, which is very easy to do in Vienna. So no, I usually just.
Looks like we lost Jakub for the last bit of the show. We were just going to close it out anyway. So my final thoughts on the word variety. We had a really interesting conversation, Jakub and I, about this stuff, and I would really like to talk to him at some point in the future as we get closer to the release date of Black Jacket. That will be hopefully very soon in 2026. I'm looking forward to it. The variety that I saw comes in the form of different cards, different decks, different ways to play the game. Oh, here we go. We got him back. You know what? I just wanted to thank you for being on the show and talking with me, and we should do this again in the future, I think, at some point when we get closer to the release date of Black Jacket. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for talking with me about all that you do at Mapumi Games and the word variety. We covered a variety of topics, did we not?
For sure. It was a pleasure to be, and it was really nice talking with you. And sure, once we release, we can try to schedule another one and talk after you get to play the full game, and maybe I can talk about how people receive it.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Jakub, and thank you, audience, for joining us on this week's episode of the Too Vague Podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Jakub.
And we've been your hosts. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.